And I certainly hope everyone's enjoying their summer and the long summer weekends. I don't know about you, but it's going to be hard going back to 5 days a week. It has been kind of nice, hasn't it? As usual, if you'd like to speak during today's meeting, during the question and answer time, please raise your hand with the hand raising notification icon, and Hardik will let us know who would like to speak, and then he'll unmute speakers one at a time. Thank you, Hardik. Also, thanks to Willie, who's gotten us started here. We're delighted to welcome back Omar Williams from his paternity leave. I don't know if Omar is with us today, but Omar, if you are here, it's great to have you back. Congratulations to you, your wife Tessina, and son Nathaniel on the arrival of Victoria Lynn Williams on May 24th. Also, is he here?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Omar. Great to have you back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
And we all congratulate our gifted colleague, Heather DeVries, who recently defended her dissertation and completed doctoral study at Caldwell University. Congratulations, Dr. DeVries. Last week, Paul Dillon informed the college that he plans to retire effective August 1st. And as we are all aware, Paul has established a strong and enduring legacy through his long tenure of leadership and dedicated service to Hudson County Community College as the Associate Dean for Business, Culinary Arts, and Hospitality Management, and earlier as a member of the faculty. And Marcella Williams in my office has shared her plans to retire effective January 1st, 2022. Marcella has served Hudson County Community College with excellence and dedication for 33 years. We're all going to miss Paul and Marcella greatly, but we certainly wish them all the best and much happiness in their retirement. And we look forward to their continuing involvement in the life of the college and the HCCC family. Recently, we learned the bittersweet news that HCCC Dean of Libraries, Jenny Pugh, will be leaving the college at the end of July to become the new leader of the Hoboken Public Library. We're going to miss Jenny greatly, but we're happy for her as she begins this new chapter of her career. Last Monday, the Hudson County Community College Foundation hosted the annual Hudson County Community College Foundation golf outing at Forest Hill Field Club. It was the 19th annual outing, and despite the threat of thunderstorms, more than 80 golfers participated. And this year's outing raised over $64,000, which is a significant increase over last year's $48,000 during the height of the pandemic. And we want to thank Nicholas Chevrolotti, Murta Sanchez, Foundation Director Rich Makowitz, who chaired the Golf Outing Committee, our wonderful faculty, staff, and foundation volunteers, and all who participated in the golf outing, and all who have donated to our scholarship and other funds that really make life-changing impact here with our students in our college. Last week, the Office of the New Jersey Secretary of Higher Education notified me that Hudson County Community College will receive $500,000 through the New Jersey Opportunity Meets Innovation Challenge Grant. The funding will support the college's DEI efforts, including funding for up to 100 faculty and staff to complete Cornell University's Diversity and Inclusion Certificate Program. This is a program that Uris and Lalisa completed about a year ago, and recently our board vice chair, Bakari Lee, completed this. And so we will now make this really rich learning opportunity and professional development opportunity available to 100 of our colleagues. Also, the funding will support the expansion of our wonderful new 10-week Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Student Passport program, which is just phenomenal. And it will also provide funding for sexual harassment and Title IX training and retraining for all full and part-time faculty, staff, and students. And very importantly, this funding will allow us to hire consultants to prepare and train HCCC faculty and staff to lead future training around harassment prevention and education in order to sustain the impact of this work on an ongoing basis. We thank Executive Director of the Sea Caucus Center and Early College Programs, Dr. Chris Conzen, for leading the development of our grant application, and kudos to our grants and foundation colleagues who've really been working hard on a lot of grants, and we're seeing the fruits of their efforts. and everyone who participated in writing this and other grant applications. And also last week, we learned that our federal community project earmark funding request totaling $975,000 has been included in the U.S. House Labor, Health, and Human Services, Education, and Related Agencies funding bill. We thank Congressman Albio Series and his staff for the support of our funding request, which will, if funded, advance technology at the North Hudson campus. We also want to thank Vice President Nicholas Chevrolotti and our federal consultant and lobbyist, Winning Strategies, Washington. There's still a long way to go until the funding's finalized, but this is a very strong outcome at the House subcommittee level, and we will keep you all informed. As a component of our enrollment management goals and initiatives, we've been reviewing strategies for increasing the college's enrollment of international students. Recently, our enrollment services colleagues partnered with Keystone Academic Solutions, which specializes in international student recruitment through internet marketing that connects prospective students throughout the world with United States institutions of higher education. Over time, we're optimistic that Keystone will help us expand our community of international students, offering a stronger network of peer support and collegiality for our students from abroad and contributing to the rich diversity of our student community. Recently, HCCC alumnus Warren Rigby was interviewed by The Guardian, a British-based worldwide news outlet that considers itself, and I'm quoting, the world's leading liberal voice. Warren was asked to comment on the free community college movement and specifically the impact of the Community College Opportunity Grant in supporting his education at HCCC. And Warren was quoted throughout the article about the importance of CCOG to his educational opportunities, goals, and his Hudson County Community College experience. Kudos, Warren. Don't know if Warren's here today, but we will be providing, if we haven't already, a link to the story so that everybody can see it. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, Warren's involvement on the ACCT Student Advisory Board led to his being asked to do this because he was such an articulate spokesperson about a student's point of view in that committee. So, Warren, that's phenomenal. Over the last several weeks, I reviewed college-wide feedback from all who interviewed our two finalists for Vice President for Advancement and Communications. And I want to thank all of you again who participated in those interviews and offered feedback. And I want you to know, we look at every bit of the feedback. It's important. Both candidates offered many strengths. They were both well received by our community, and truly they would both be outstanding hires. This was a tough decision for all the right reasons. In consultation with our Board of Trustees, our Foundation Board, and other members of our college community, I offered the position to Nicole Johnson, and she's accepted, subject to trustee approval at the August 10th meeting of the Board of Trustees. And Nicole plans to begin the position on Monday, September 20th. I look forward to working closely with Nicole, our foundation colleagues, and our college family and friends to advance the vitally important work of growing our external funding, including gifts, planned giving, annual fund, corporate partnerships, grants, faculty and staff, annual giving, and other opportunities. And I want to take this opportunity to again thank Nicholas Chevrolotti for continuing to oversee advancement, marketing, and communications and grants development, in addition to his external relations and senior counsel position responsibilities throughout the extended period of this search, which has been ongoing for the past 18 months. I think we have a wonderful conclusion, and kudos to all involved. Our colleague, Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Darrell Jones, has been leading the search processes for Executive Director of Online Learning, Executive Director of the North Hudson campus, and soon for Dean of Libraries. Darrell, thank you so much for your leadership. This is critical work, and it's also very time-consuming work. I'd like to invite Darrell to offer an update on the status of these searches and vacancies. Thank you, Darrell.
Thank you, Chris, and good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well on a Tuesday. So I'm happy to bring forth a number of very important updates as relates to position vacancies that we have with the college. Two of them I can openly share, and one of them I'll have to delay until individuals are notified. But first and foremost is the Executive Director for the Center of Online Learning. We interviewed 3 individuals, and many of you participated in the open forums and the other meetings with those candidates. And I'm happy to announce that Mr. Matthew LeBrake has accepted the offer to serve as the next director or executive director of the Center of Online Learning. For those that may not be familiar with his credentials, Matthew currently serves as the Senior Director of Digital Support Services with Berkeley College of New York, New Jersey, and online campus. He will join us he will appear in the board package subject to board approval for the August Board of Trustees meeting. And if all goes well, Matthew will join us on August 30th. And I'd also like to really extend my deepest gratitude to Dr. Robert Kahn, who stood in the gap, who stepped up, did not flinch, did not take any steps backwards as he led the Center of Online Learning through a very challenging time. Robert, thank you. You and your team did a phenomenal lift in the spring of the year with the addition of 16 new online courses, and also the accomplishment of 3 additional online programs. So you will forever be the best in my book, Dr. Khan. So thank you for being with us. So please join me in extending gratitude for Robert and also Matthew LeBlake once he joins us at the end of August. I'm also happy to announce that the screening committee has identified 3 individuals for finalists for the position of the Executive Director of North Hudson Campus. I will not share their names at this time because, in all fairness, I think that the finalists need to be notified before they are shared with the broader community. So we will do that later today as those individuals are identified. But I do want to extend, again, a thank you to the individuals that served on the screening committee for the North Hudson Campus Executive Director position: Lisa Bogart, Claudia Delgado, Diana Galvez, Dr. Burl Yearwood, Dr. Christopher Conzen, Lester McCrae, Shanine Caruana, Amala Ogburn, and Anna Krapinski. Thank you very much for your efforts. And Chris did mention that due to the departure of our Dean of Libraries, Jenny Pooh. Jenny, again, you will be missed. Your departure, last day is August 5th of this year. I think she is taking a well-deserved vacation over the next couple of weeks. But I have asked Mr. James Cox to step up and to lead and to serve in an interim capacity due to this vacancy. And I've had a number of conversations with James Cox, and James really stepped in front of the line, raised his hand and said, absolutely, Darryl, I am ready for this challenge, and I'm ready to lead the team in the interim as we have a national search for our next Dean of Libraries. So those are the updates that I'd like to pose at this time, and I can entertain any questions if there are any.
And we can do that at the end. Thank you,
Okay.
Darryl.
Thank you
very much. Our Return to Campus Task Force continues its dedicated work to lead, advise, and support our community and to plan for this fall and beyond. Recently, we allocated some of our federal stimulus funding that's earmarked for financial support of our students to erase all outstanding financial balances of HCCC students during the spring, summer, and fall 2020 and spring 2021 semesters. This funding has expunged nearly $4.9 million in outstanding financial balances for approximately 4,800 students. We're also allocating stimulus funding to every Hudson County Community College student registered for the fall semester. And this includes credit and non-credit, and providing evidence of having become fully vaccinated. In the non-credit case, they have to be attending on-ground classes. In the case of credit students, all students qualify, part-time, full-time, on-ground, not on-ground. Fully vaccinated students will each receive $100 deposited directly into their bank accounts. And shortly after receiving notice of this opportunity, and it hasn't been long, just recently, over 400 students to date have registered for the fall semester and have already provided documentation of full immunization status. I also want to thank all faculty and staff who completed a recent confidential survey of their vaccination status. We're very pleased that over 90% of the nearly 400 employees who completed the survey reported that they're fully vaccinated or in the process of becoming fully vaccinated. We will be surveying fall students shortly, and we will share the survey results with everyone. We're watching the developments associated with the Delta variant closely. The impact of this variant is nearly universally affecting those who are unvaccinated, adding significantly to the importance of all who are able becoming fully vaccinated. I want to emphasize, we're looking at the numbers. You know, there's discussion about breakthrough cases of folks that are fully vaccinated and getting the virus, but the evidence so far is very clear that those folks aren't getting acutely ill, and the evidence continues to suggest that the vaccine is protecting. I saw a statistic today: 99.98% of all who were vaccinated. In survey comments from faculty and staff, and I read every one of them, there were some comments that strongly favored our requiring everyone to be fully vaccinated, as many, maybe most of the four-year colleges and universities have done, and an equal number of comments strongly opposed to this requirement. What we've done is taken a balanced approach of respecting the personal issues and concerns impacting this decision for every member of our community. This includes the diverse religious and cultural traditions of our community, personal health issues affecting this decision, and the many barriers faced by our students. At the same time, we recognize the science and evidence that becoming fully vaccinated is paramount to protecting every person's health and their health on their impact on the health of others. Hence, while we're not requiring individuals to be vaccinated, we are urging those who do not have personal health, spiritual, or other concerns to please get vaccinated without delay. It is so important. Virtually everyone that is, this uptick in the virus, in cases that are requiring hospitalization, ICU, and in the rising death toll, they're all unvaccinated people, virtually all. So our decision to promote to the fullest extent everyone's getting vaccinated is informed by the large and convincing body of evidence of the safety and efficacy of of the vaccines. Terrible slip. And I also want to add that our approach is consistent with that of every New Jersey community college, all 18, and nearly every community college in the nation. Only a handful are requiring vaccines. New York Community College is requiring them because the governor has required them to. I think the Community College of Rhode Island has made the decision to require it. Virtually all of the other 1,200 community colleges are taking the kind of approach we are, recognizing the diversity and significant barriers that their students and communities represent and face. Lisa Doherty is currently on a well-deserved vacation, but RTC Task Force Co-Chair Heather DeVries is here, and Heather will now provide an update. Heather, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Good afternoon, everyone. Just a few brief updates from the Return to Campus Task Force. First, to echo what Dr. Reber just said, the Return to Campus Task Force continues to encourage all members of the college community who are able to become fully vaccinated. Members of the HCCC community can still make an appointment with the North Hudson Community Action Corporation to receive the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. Just a reminder that our partnership with the North Hudson Community Action Corporation is winding down in the next few weeks, and they will no longer be administering vaccines at our North Hudson campus. So individuals may have to receive one or both doses at another NHCAC location. We would again like to thank Jack Quigley and Joris Poolholz for making this successful partnership possible. Otherwise, COVID-19 vaccines are readily available at local pharmacies, and the Return to Campus Task Force will circulate information with all of the vaccine information again this week for easy reference, with the links and timelines and all that other information. So keep an eye out for that. We would also like to extend a big thank you to our RTC health and safety experts, Catherine Sarangelo, Sirhan Abdullah, Carol Fasano, and Kathleen Smith-Wenning, for holding a COVID-19 facts versus myths, facts versus fiction panel about 2 weeks ago. The recording of that webinar is now available on the RTC webpage. And if you haven't seen it, if you haven't attended one live, I highly recommend it. It's very informative and just genuinely an enjoyable presentation. They are truly experts. Speaking of the webpage, we have made a few other updates to the Return to Campus page over the past few weeks, including updating the FAQs. So as a reminder, that Return to Campus webpage is still there as a resource for the college community and is still being kept up to date. Finally, speaking of our we're thinking about our return to campus beginning August 16th, our full return, and to end on a fun note, the Human Resources Working Group of the Return to Campus Task Force, spearheaded by Anna Kapritsky and Amala Ogburn, are organizing a homecoming week, that first week back, and maybe even spreading over into the following week, with different events like an ice cream social, food trucks, karaoke, raffles, gift bags. They have a ton of stuff planned. More information will be distributed in the coming weeks, so keep an eye out for that email. And if you would like to get involved in organizing any of these events, I'm sure Anna and Amala would appreciate the help in pulling all of this together. The more hands, the better. You can reach out to either to Anna and Amala directly, or you can email return@hccc.edu, and Lisa and I will put you in contact with them. That is all I have for my Return to Campus update. I will turn it back over to you, Dr. Reber.
Thanks, Heather, and we're going to hear from you again, I know,
Yes.
2 more times. I appreciate that, and I want to remind everyone that while we're no longer requiring those who are fully vaccinated to wear masks, everyone is welcome to continue to wear masks. That is absolutely welcomed. That is your decision. If you're not fully vaccinated, please do wear a mask. On June 29th, and we'll open this to discussion because I know I'm sure there are questions and comments. On June 29th, our Hudson County Community College team presented Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at HCCC, a case study for developing DEI models and best practices. And our presentation was the concluding session of the National 2-Day ACCT Virtual Diversity Institute. This was a special moment for our team and other Hudson County Community College members in attendance. I thank them for offering their support and being there. The response from attendees throughout the United States was really very positive and affirming. I thank our colleagues who joined me in offering the presentation, Trustee Pamela Gardner, Vice President Eurus Pujols, Assistant Professor Eric Adamson, and alumna Coral Booth. And I thank a number of you for helping us develop the presentation, the slideshow. That there is a recording of the presentation that we are going to be making available shortly if you're interested in watching it. Speaking about DEI, on July 1st, Eurus began his new position as Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. His office is located on the 6th floor of the Gabert Library. I'm also delighted that Jose Lowe has accepted a 3-year appointment as co-chair of PAC Day, replacing Eurus. Jose will join Lalisa Williams in leading and supporting the continuing vital work of PAC Day. And I'd now like to invite Eurus to speak, followed by Jose and Lalisa. Eurus.
Thank you, Dr. Reber. Good afternoon, everyone. As most of you know, I'm a graduate of Hudson County. I started here in 1998, and I took classes with Professor Nabil Marshhood, Dorothy Anderson, Jenny DeCino White, and many others. And they provided solid role models for me to follow. And back then, if someone would have asked me, hey, you're going to be serving someday in the capacity of Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, I would have said first, I have no idea what that is. And two, probably would have laughed. Like, that's not me. But I am really proud of all that we've done over the last year, developing DEI infrastructure at the college, creating a mindset, and for us to really emerge. I mean, going back to the presentation that Chris alluded to, everyone like looking at us, how you put into practice a lot of these ideas, again, it was really, really reaffirming. The main reflection that I have over the last year is that it took all of us to get to this point. This was a collective effort that, we're partners in different groups, different cohort models, and, And again, I want to recognize specifically my partner, co-chair, Elisa Williams, for her commitment and unwavering professionalism. You know, the late calls and weekend calls, and like you're amazing, Elisa, and it's I look forward to our further collaboration. And again, I'm humble for the opportunity to serve our students, faculty, and staff, and community members as the bulk of the work related to DEI still lays ahead. At HCCC, we define diversity broadly, and we will promote an environment that celebrates our differences and acknowledges and builds on our similarities. Every interaction has the potential to build bridges, relationships, and community. And I would like to be intentional about leveraging all of that to enhance our cohesiveness and our community. I aspire to promote inclusion in order to fully realize the potential benefits of diversity. We want everyone to be an insider and to make sure that their voices are contributing to shaping the climate at HCCC, that we continue to provide a space for everyone to speak up. We all have different opinions, and sometimes it's tough to be the person that has a different angle to things, but I want to encourage you to speak up, because that is a benefit to everyone. And whenever a person speaks, that usually reflects the opinions of others as well. So I want to encourage this dialogue, because again, the benefits of diversity are fully realized when all of us are insiders, and we're going to try to promote that as much as possible. We want to empower our students to provide leadership development opportunities for them, to make sure that they're fully engaged in the work that's happened, not just on DEI, but in everything throughout the college. I intend to work closely with the Office of Human Resources to always improve our practices, to make sure that they're equitable when it comes to recruitment, hiring, and the advancement at the college. I know, as all of you know, that there's incredible talent around us. If you look at the part-time staff that we have that are working with us, our entry-level positions, junior-level positions, there's so much talent. And I firmly believe that sometimes all you need is for opportunity to meet that talent, to provide that opportunity for individuals to be in that role, to do that work. And I intend to really work with that and support that, and providing those opportunities for growth. I also want to fully engage our part-time workforce. They're incredible. And collectively, I want to make sure that we identify the best way to engage and to support their work here at the college. All of this will be accomplished, but I know that it will not be accomplished by me. I'm going to need all of your support, your ideas, your imagination to make sure that we get there. And you provided that when we started with this, and I could only see the world from my perspective, from when I'm standing, and we need to make sure that we have that shared angle to everything. As such, over the next few days, I will be reaching out with invitations to speak with you individually, in groups, and I want to make sure that I get your input and your advice on how we rolled everything out, as your input will be instrumental for the next stages of our DI journey at Hudson. With that, a very important point: equity work. We're going to fully embrace equity work. We'll review data. We'll disaggregate the data. We'll need to identify areas where there are gaps when it comes to the students specifically. And based on those gaps, we're going to develop interventions to make sure that we address those and we promote that. I want to thank Dr. River for his support, in fully building and developing a DI, fully operational area that is divisional, that is structured in a way that could make a difference. And Chris, I thank you for your leadership, for providing a vision, and for always being in the trenches with us when we need it. With that, I thank all of you for your time, and I want to pass it on to my partners and friends, Lilisa and Jose.
Thank you, Eurus. Thank you for sharing your vision for the DEI work and what will be coming down through your office and with the collaboration from throughout and around the college. And I would like to also thank you, Dr. Reber, as well. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. At the moment, Eurus, Jose, and myself, we are planning the set of meetings that will take place in the fall 21 semester, and we'll, of course, communicate that to all of our members. We have about of 40 or so members now to the President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And we're also excited to see what all this new semester will bring about in this new fiscal year. As you all know, the Summer Inclusion Tour is on and thriving and going strong, and we thank all of you for those who have participated and all the knowledge and information that you've gained out of it. And we also want to just remind people to continue to look to the Summer Inclusion Tour, to the program guide for upcoming events. And just as a reminder, we just want to thank those who were a part of the July 1st. We held the first ever program titled Children of the Border, which talked about immigration, federal policy, talked about immigrants and how real lives are impacted. Also, that was led by our very own Kathleen Smith Winning, facilitated that program. Also on Thursday, July 8th, we hosted a program called Motherhood Amid the Pandemic. So for those of you who attended that, you remember we had our Associate Dean Jenny Bobea, Marissa Lontock, and also Carrie Exeo shared their experiences as mothers, talked about their gender roles, and other variables related to family and children. It was a wonderful opportunity to celebrate mothers, and it was great if you attended, getting to hear what other people experience. I think that also speaks to, like what Iris is saying, it just adds to our diversity. Then on Tuesday, July 13th, we featured the weekly open dialogue series, Want to Talk About It, which is also facilitated by Amala Osborne. On Wednesday, July 14th, we had the movie night, which featured a movie I thought was an interesting title, Period, End of Sentence. Don't forget, Grubhub gift cards were issued to the people who attended. Amala was the point person for that. And if you have any questions about the next movie night, please follow up with her. And then finally, this coming Thursday, we have a session of the barbershop led by our very own Knight Abubuya. The title for his session is A Conversation with Your Younger Self. Again, that's going to happen on Thursday, July the 22nd at 2 p.m. And this is a series that is open to all male and male identifying members of our community college. So there's so much more coming down the pipes, and we're just so glad to be able to share all this with you and more. And now I would like to turn it over to my new co-chair and partner, Jose Lowe, a partner of Pat Day. Jose, take it away.
All right. Once again, thank you. Thank you, Lilisa. Thank you, your viewers, and thank you, Dr. Reber, for this great opportunity. And first, I want to say happy Eid for all of our Muslim faculty members, staff, and students. I don't know if you walked through the Jonah Square section and you could feel the festiveness of the folks around this vicinity. If you feel it when you walk, if you get lunch later on, see if you could walk and you could feel the festivity. And so I'm pretty sure aware of this festivity, because we do have students of Muslim descent in our program, and they're always telling us, Mr. Lowe, give us, we can't come to class today because we got to do this, and we understand that. So we're well aware of this festive day that our students are experiencing and having. But once again, thank you, Lilisa. Thank you, yours. Our members received the action plan. I don't know if you got that over the weekend. There's going to be a quiz. There's going to be a quiz, so make sure you read it and digest it, because I'm going to be asking questions. That's the educator in me, So I'm going to, go over. I'm actually going over each of the pages, and going over some of the things. So I'm going to be asking some of you the questions about each of the items on the action plan. It's action pack. It's almost 23 pages, full of content that is going to affect every single aspect of the college. Remember, the action plan was developed out of the survey that was conducted when DI first began. So this is your voice. This is your opinion. So this is your time to look at the action plan and make your voice be heard. Also, this year, we're going to be looking at our membership. We have members who are part of our organization, the DEI, and we're gonna, either connect with those folks or invite new folks in. So you're also gonna probably be hearing from me, asking you, what's going on? You want to continue or you want to just do something else? So we're going to be communicating with you as well. So exciting times coming down the pipe, and I'm looking forward to this process. And so once again, thank you, Eurus, thank you, Ms. Williams, and thank you, Dr. B.
Thank you so much, Jose, Eurus, and Luis. And Jose, I got to get you to call me Chris, please. But thank you. We are delighted to have you moving into the co-chair role. I want to take this opportunity to recognize our colleagues at the North Hudson campus and the challenges they've encountered over the last few weeks specific to parking. As many of you are aware, the town of West New York is building a parking deck on the municipal parking lot where our North Hudson campus faculty and staff park their vehicles. It's a large-scale project that will eventually benefit our employees in the community when completed by providing more spaces. But unfortunately, we didn't hear about these plans until our colleagues reported to work and found the parking lot closed, and a note explaining that the closure may remain for as long as 1 year until the construction of the parking deck is completed. Not a best case study in how to communicate. I want to at this time ask Eurus to return to speak briefly about the parking situation. We're now bringing him back as executive director of the North Hudson campus. Speak briefly about the situation. He's been working closely with Jack Quigley and his team, and they are working on arrangements to serve our North Hudson employees during this protracted construction period. Eurus?
Thank you, Chris. This has been a very challenging situation. Finding parking in Hudson County, specifically around Union City, it's a challenge. Some of us sometimes use it as a joke. Like parking is like I have a lot of jokes about that. And it's been something that we've not been able to find like a quick fix to the problem. For example, the one area that we're able to identify right away to accommodate parking, even though we looked at others, was parking spot in 59th Street. If you do the math, that's 11 blocks away from the campus. So I'm all for doing a little work, a little exercise, but it's it's demanding. We try to use the shuttle to bring people in, but the problem remains. This has caused a lot of inconveniences and a lot of headaches to our team. And we just wanted to share and reiterate that we're actively pursuing multiple leads to secure adequate parking arrangements for all of you at North Hudson. And we're optimistic that we will find a solution soon. As Chris mentioned, the parking lot problem, it's extended. That's going to be a year longer, right? At that time, we'll hope to either be able to go back to a better situation there that will provide more spaces, or to a better opportunity that we might be able to identify now, right? For the time being, we have scheduled 3 shuttle rides during the morning. The shuttle will leave the parking lot, and this is going to be Tuesdays, Monday through Thursday. It's going to leave the parking lot at 8 a.m., 8:30, and 9 a.m. So if you could hope maybe be able to plan so like that, you don't need to be calling, but this process would allow us to prioritize the rides for your arrivals. Essentially, once you come in, there'll be the rides taking you to the campus. Similarly, we have scheduled evening rides that will be leaving the campus and head towards the parking lot at 5:30, 5:50, and 6 p.m. Again, hopefully removing the hustle that you need to call to schedule a pickup, but that will be there. Hopefully will help you plan a little bit better. And this evening ride should prioritize your departures. In addition to that, the shuttle will continue being available on demand, meaning that if you get there earlier, if you get later sometime during the middle of the day, you need to be either picked up at the parking lot, picked up at the campus. I just called the main security number at North Hudson, 201-360-477, and I'll put it on the chat when I finish picking, and they will send the shuttle over to pick you up. Also, this came up that some of our colleagues were issued parking tickets. Because you show up to work, everything is closed, you need to find out where to park, and that turned into tickets. So we kindly ask that if you were issued a ticket, that you please reach out to Alexa Riano. We ask her to be the point person, so one person is dealing with this. So she'll work with you to make sure that we're able to secure some type of reimbursement for you. We appreciate your patience with this. We know this is challenging, and as soon as we know more, you'll know more. It's just that it's been, getting information has been challenging. But any questions you have, please reach out to me directly. And that's all I have for now, Chris.
Thank you, Juris. And again, we can entertain any questions or comments in just a few minutes. And I do want to do a shout out to Jack and his colleagues. They not only have they been addressing this, but a lot of recent challenges, and they're always there responding right away. I know we had one challenge with a roof issue on a neighboring property that required the response on a Friday evening, and they were there. So thank you, kudos. Our strategic planning continues, informed by wonderful participation and feedback of many members of our strategic planning core team and other community members. We're nearing completion of the strategic directions and initiatives that will form the foundation of our new 2021-24 college strategic plan. Meanwhile, our new mission, vision, and values statements, which became effective on July 1st, have now been posted throughout the campus, replacing the previous statements. And I would ask you, encourage you, if you are willing, please change or add the new mission statement to your email signature. It is now available, and we'd love everybody to see it on their email. I thank all of you who participated and continue to participate in this important strategic planning process, and I want to do a special thanks to Dr. Heather DeVries and John Scanlon for their leadership, among many others. Next, it's my pleasure to invite Dream Team co-chairs, Dr. Sheila Dinan and Dr. Heather DeVries, to offer an update on the continuing comprehensive work of the ATD Dream Team. And I want to just point out, we now have 2 Dr. Ds leading this work, which we think is cool. Heather and Sheila.
Thank you, Chris. I will take the lead on this. Last Tuesday, Dr. Reba, Heather, and I met with Dr. Monica Parrish Trent, who is a consultant at ATD, and her colleague Gabriel. And they were interested in the year that we had and how we experienced it. And they were really interested in the innovative practices that Hudson used during the past year. And we discussed many of these Hudson services and innovations that we had either perfected or invented just to make sure that all of our students had every single thing that they needed. When we were going through the list, Dr. Trent was extremely interested in the mental health services that we were able to continue and expand for all of the students remotely. And some of those issues we were looking at and talking about, and she kept asking, we gave her the list of our one-on-one counseling by remote, by secure HIPAA Zooms. We had flexible hours. We had group sessions. We expanded our contracts with both Rutgers and NYU to have graduate social work students doing their internships and helping our students. We were interfacing with community services. We had implemented Talk Campus, which is a 24/7 self-help program that's accessible to all students. And then one of the things that really caught her was that we had no waiting list as other schools do. And I give credit to Doreen and her team who create flexible hours for that. And they take care of the students no matter what. And as a result of that, Dr. Trent will be connecting Hudson County Community College with Dr. Flagg at ATD, who is leading the Mental Health Summit in November for a national program for ATD. So that is rather, exciting and daunting. And I give all the credit to the people who work within mental health. Heather?
Thank you, Sheila. So I'm going to give you some updates on our Dream Team work. First and foremost, thank you to every member of the college community who participated in HOW teams and our student success work over the past year. In particular, thank you so much to our HOW team co-leads, Alexa Riano, Jenny Bobea, Laura Samuelson, Kyle Woolley, Lauren O'Gara, Robin Singer, all of our student leaders, particularly Coral Booth, Abu Traore, Tyler Sarmiento, Crystal Newton, Dr. Pamela Bandiopatier, Jason Figueroa, Tori Marino, Dr. David Clark, Dr. Arakar Kashian, Joe Caniglia, Jackie Safont, and all of our members involved on the pre-nursing work group. Thank you. Sheila and I read through your end of year reports, and really we sat down, we were like, we'll spend the morning on this, and then I think we each had other media, and we just couldn't pull ourselves away from these reports. They were so well done and so thoughtful and so thorough. So just kudos to all of you. That represents, I think, the true scope of your work, and the thoughtfulness with which you conducted it this past year, and we are just so grateful. We will take a deeper dive into those reports and kind of next steps involving your research and recommendations at tomorrow's Dream Team meeting. So more information to come there. And they will definitely inform our work heavily for entering ATD year 3. We are in year 3 of our initial 3-year commitment, hard to believe. And our work in year 3 broadly will continue to support our goals of identifying and closing equity gaps and increasing student persistence term to term and year to year. We had those 2 priorities in our action plan, and we're still very much aligned with our action plan. Priority 1 focused on the persistence of that first-time full-time cohort. And our second priority focused on really developing a culture of care that supports all students in persisting. So we're still very much committed to those 2 priorities. Otherwise, I think at a very high level, some initiatives we'll focus on, and more information to come, are placement and exit strategies and course sequencing and academic foundations, broadly professional development opportunities, scheduling equity, early warning and early alert reporting systems, and we look forward to welcoming our next group of student leaders who will continue the Hudson is Home project and putting their own spin on it, kind of the next iteration. Finally, looking ahead towards fall, we spoke with Marion Renee, our leadership and data coaches through ATD, earlier this week, and it seems we are moving forward with welcoming them back on ground for their fall 2021 visit. We're aiming for early October, when the weather is still seasonable. And again, we'll keep everyone posted as that agenda starts to come together, but we're definitely looking forward to having them back on ground. Dr. Reber, we will turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Heather and Sheila. Phenomenal work across the college. I also want to add my thanks to all who are involved on the Dream Team, our HOW teams, and in student success work everywhere you look. As we discussed at last month's town hall, we've begun working in earnest to offer educational opportunities for prisoners in the Hudson County Correctional Facility and prisoners who are now re-entering society and the workforce. We're working closely with former New Jersey Governor James McGreevey, who leads the New Jersey Reentry Corporation, and his colleagues. A task force chaired by Heather DeVries and Lori Margolin is working with Governor McGreevey, his colleagues, our college leadership, faculty, staff, students, and others to consider all the possibilities and to plan early approaches to prisoner and reentry education, which we hope to grow and develop over time. And I want to emphasize, this is a long-term project, so we're trying to get started now in any way we can, but we recognize it's a long-term project that we hope we can stick with and add value to over time, providing opportunities that change lives, truly. So Lori's on it. Heather, your compatriots are all on vacation, and you're here. We need to get you on vacation, but Lori's on a well-deserved vacation, and I've asked Heather to please discuss the project briefly including any current approaches and future expectations. Heather.
Thank you, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much to everyone who expressed interest in being part of the college's work with those individuals who are currently incarcerated or were previously incarcerated at last month's town hall. Lori and I are really just appreciative of the expertise you bring to the table, and we look forward to working with each of you as these two initiatives grow. We had a meeting with those who expressed interest a few weeks ago, and I think we can all agree it was a really dynamic meeting. It got everyone on the same page, so we're all communicating the same message forward, and we really look forward to both of these initiatives growing. I have a few brief updates regarding our partnership with the New Jersey Reentry Training Corp, or New Jersey Reentry Corporation. We are planning to deliver on-site instruction at the NJRC's Training and Employment Center in Kearney starting this September, and are then developing a plan to incrementally grow our offerings there. Again, as Dr. Reber just said, this is a long-term, we have kind of an initial launch plan, but this is a much longer-term project. For September, we have identified one group of credit-bearing courses and one continuing ed workforce development program to offer. On the credit-bearing side, we're starting with 3 supply chain management courses that lead to industry-recognized credentials and are also part of the college's certificate in transportation, logistics, and distribution. And then through continuing ed and workforce development, we are offering an advanced manufacturing boot camp followed by a CNC operator course. So that's our plan for September, the immediate future. And then based on our conversations with representatives at the NJRC, we're expecting an enrollment of about 15 students in the supply chain management classes and another 15 in the advanced manufacturing boot camp. That's just for this fall, and then we will start looking at what kind of offerings make sense for spring 2022 and longer term. NJRC, as our partner in this work, is taking care of the facilities needs. We were asked to kind of submit a wish list a few weeks ago, and we were told, Lori and I were told last week, that just about everything on that list is easily accomplished. So that was really good news. They also have office space set aside for HCCC personnel. All we have to do is kind of show up with laptops. Otherwise, they have filing cabinets, copiers, all those other kinds of basics. And the NJRC is also taking the lead on the recruitment of students. They're advertising these programs across their 8 different sites. Then we on our side are taking care of the scheduling and the general logistics of course offerings and program delivery. We've made a lot of progress in a very short amount of time, but there is still a lot to do as September 1st is fast approaching. As I close, we would like to extend a big thank you to all those involved, including the academic divisions, the Office of Financial Aid, the Office of the Registrar, Continuing Education and Workforce Development. It has really truly taken a village to get this up and running in a very short amount of time. I think we've only been meeting since about mid-June. So in about a month's time, I think we've come a long way. In a little while, I'm happy to answer any questions about the reentry initiative. But in the meantime, I turn it back over to Dr. Reber.
Thanks so much, Heather. And Lori is also, overseeing an in-prison training program that'll be virtual beginning this fall, that is grant funded, that we hope also can be a component of our long-term plan. So both, offering education in the jail and for those that are now assimilating back into society. And I just want to share, I've attended a few meetings about these subjects and have heard reentry individuals speak about the impact on their lives of those who work closely with them and help them do things like get an education, get a job. And it parallels the inspirational comments we hear our students share, inspirational stories they share. So I think, I'm getting a little bit too poetic here, but this is truly the work of the Lord, however you define him or her. And Heather, again, thank you for your leadership. Okay, we're nearing the end and we're going to get to open conversation. You've been reading, I'm sure, that plans are underway to sell our properties at 70, 162, and 168 to the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency for their long-term vision for Journal Square as a cultural destination. This also, of course, is integrally tied to our moving forward with our academic tower project. Our leader in this work who's working closely with a whole, really, spider web set of external partners and grants and programs, is Dr. Nicholas Chevalotti. Nicholas, would you kindly give us an update?
Yes, thank you, Chris. As you may have read in the paper, a lot of exciting news in Journal Square. Jersey City has announced a project at the Lowe's Theater. They've also recently announced a wonderful project at 25 Pathside, right next door to 70 SIP. We have also been in negotiations with the JCRA and have come to a memorandum of agreement to sell 162 through 168 SIP Avenue and 70 SIP to the JCRA. We're now working on a contract, which we hope to have signed in the fall, hopefully be authorized by the board and signed by both parties in September. We're selling the properties to them for $16 million. We are not turning the properties over to them for at least 3 years. So the value of the deal is closer to $20 million when you factor in the rent-free occupation. And obviously, and the community knows this, we're interested in selling these parcels so that we can then invest in the academic tower. And along that lines, there will be news coming out in the next month or so on the academic tower, in that we now have an agreement with the Hudson County Economic Development Corporation, and they're going to do a request for expression of interest for the air rights that sit above the academic tower, and that should be made public within the next couple of weeks. And we hope to hear more from them. Where we are with the academic tower is obviously the sale of these two parcels is important from a financial stack standpoint. Trying to find a private partner to develop the air rights that are excess and that the college has no intended use of. But we're also working with the state, the county, and pursuing federal dollars for the development. And our goal, and I think the goal of the Board of Trustees and the goal of the President's office, is to be able to have the financial stack and have a building ready to go sometime in the next 12 months. I just want to make sure everyone's aware of this, that cabinet members this week and next week will be receiving copies of the current design for the academic tower. Just to review with staff, this is a document that the college has spent several $100,000 producing. It is, I think, going to be a beautiful building and address a lot of our needs, but obviously things have changed quickly here at the college, and we want to give people an opportunity to review them internally. But again, we do not anticipate breaking ground on the tower for at least another year, unless we are very fortunate in our pursuing funding from the state and federal government.
Very exciting. Thank you, Nicholas, so much. And now we open the meeting to questions, comments, concerns, celebrations. Please raise your hand and Hardik will call on you and unmute you when it's your turn to speak. Thanks, Hardik.